And welcome back to Scissor Man Warrior. This is another patron roster review, and this is PBJuice from Iron Dogs. He wanted me to bark like a dog. I barked like many, many dogs. No, I'm just kidding, man. Hey, PBJuice and Iron Dogs, what's happening, you guys? Hope you guys are having a good day, and we are going to focus really, really narrowly on Arena, and we're going to intertwine some Zeta material information and differing options for the Arena team, and that's basically what PBJuice wants to go over is really Arena because that's the focus. Now, he's been playing for a little under a year. He is a tiny bit of a Dolphin, but overall, Dolphin less than a year, doing well for himself. Again, his biggest question was Arena, and he says, you know, can I even be in the top 20 without the Emperor Palpatine-led teams? Do I have to develop Rex? You know, what do I have to do? And the team you have right now is a great team, okay? It's a really, really, really good team for exactly what you're going against. The issue with getting into the top 20 with this team is having a lightning fast BB-8 and a lightning fast Thrawn and a lightning fast R2-D2. If you've got 100 plus speed on those three characters, you should be able to handle the Emperor Palpatine teams pretty well. Rey can be a little slower and General Kenobi can be even slower, but the speed on this team is really what is critical. So before we go into this arena, I just glanced over at your other arena. You got a perfect team. The only thing I noticed is you don't have the Chimera. So I looked at your Rebel ships and you are in fact ready to rock and roll to get Chimera when it comes back, which is happening soon. So as soon as you get that unlocked, max that ship out, get it leveled up, get its abilities up, and swap it. I'm sure that's already your plan of action. Now back to regular arena. Now, my suggestion to you, if you are going to keep this team and you're going to hyper focus on mods and really trying to trick out those three characters, very specifically the two droids and Thrawn, your next Zeta would actually be BB-8 roll with the punches. So that would be the next Zeta that I would recommend. Now, I do know that you're wanting alternative options for your arena and kind of how to mod them and kind of the Zeta priority for this team. And so I'm going to suggest to you another team, actually two other teams that you could possibly use with what you currently have. All right, now with the Emperor Palpatine meta rising, the one meta that really can meet it and can, you know, take it head on and do very, very well is a counter meta, So Commander Luke Skywalker led team, and you've got, of course, Commander Luke Skywalker at gear 10, and of course R2-D2. Now you have in your team now Thrawn and General Kenobi in the background, and you could keep them in the background, and I would use CLS R2-D2, and I personally would put in Jedi Training Rey, and this is why. She's going to be able to cleanse, so you can focus, you know, clear off their buff. So if they're taunting or whatever, you can clear it off, an ability block, and you'll be able to focus fire on somebody. She also has the ability to call an assist, and if you don't have BB-8 in there and only Jedi Training Rey under CLS, when she uses her special that puts the health down, she's going to also call R2-D2, which is going to stun, and you're always going to get that stun assist, especially on defense, and that's really, really good. So the stunning is good, R2-D2's burn is going to be good, and Rey is going to be able to help you focus down a particular character because you can put that healing immunity, the health immunity on that person, and so that way they can't gain any health or protection, and you can really focus down that particular character and get rid of them. So that would be my suggestion is CLS and R2-D2, and this is what happens. They have to focus fire on CLS, but then he counters, so they say nah, so then they move to R2-D2 and they want to hit him, but then he counters because he's underneath Commander Luke, and they're like, nah, he's a stunner. And then Rey's always got foresight over her, and so they're like, man, I can't get to her, and General Kenobi's always taunting anyway, so they just end up having to go for your General Kenobi, and so that also opens up your Thrawn to be able to do what he needs to do, but it's really, really difficult for them to prioritize CLS or R2 or Rey because it's hard to get to them or they're punished for doing so. Also, Thrawn does counter when he has his Zeta on his unique, and so that is a Zeta that you might want to consider is ebb and flow. In a counter squad such as CLS and R2-D2, he fits in nicely, especially with his ebb and flow Zeta, because now he becomes just like the rest of the team and counters when hit. So that's another one to consider. So I've already suggested BB-8 roll with the punches if you keep your team the same. If you move to this new team, you may want to consider Thrawn, But I have 3 Zetas that I actually would tell you and highly recommend that you look at. And the first is, if you're going to do a Commander Luke Skywalker led team, the first thing you want to do is Zeta the It Binds All Things. And the reason for that is this gives him 10% turn meter, or the rest of the team 5% turn meter whenever he inflicts these debuffs. And he's going to be inflicting a bunch of debuffs. And so he's going to be giving the team a bunch of turn meter. And so It Binds All Things would be my #1 priority for you, is get this bad boy up, put him as your leader, Zeta his It Binds All Things. The next is, you're going against a bunch of EP teams. You already said that. And Combat Analysis is one of the best Zetas in the game against Emperor Palpatine-led teams. Now, we know when you cleanse, you give turn meter to the other team. But when you cleanse, you also keep control out of their hands, because they're looking to have shock on you, and they're looking to, put debuffs on you and be able to control the battle and put, pain on you with Scion and things. And so while giving them a little extra turn meter is not good, Combat Analysis, once Zeta, allows you, when you crit, to cleanse yourself. And that is super important, especially against a debuff heavy team, because every time you guys are countering, they're cleansing themselves. And yes, it gives the other team a little bit of turn meter, but they will have far less control when it's their turn because of that. So the Combat Analysis is a phenomenal Zeta. I highly recommend it. I would make this your #2 priority if you go with this CLS team. And the #3 Zeta that I would consider, and I put this one in 3rd place because really It Binds and then Combat Analysis are the first and second most important for this team, but would be Virtuous Protector. Virtuous Protector, when Zeta, is actually going to allow for her to basically almost half the time, 40% of the time, be able to just cleanse herself. And that's really important when you're going against a debuff heavy team. They're trying to shock her and she just cleanses herself, or they're trying to stun her and she just cleanses herself, or they're trying to put pain down and she just cleanses it off. So it's basically makes it to where she sheds all the debuffs. Really good. Obviously she crits a lot, and so Combat Analysis is a better priority, because when she crits, she'll cleanse, and so there's that item as well. It's just why it's important is on her basic with connected strikes. If she has no debuffs before this basic, she'll deal 25% more damage, and if she had any buffs, she'll deal more damage. And so it's really important that she have the cleansing capability before she hits versus after. And so that's why her Zeta is #3, because it's still valid and still a relevant Zeta to use, even with the R2-D2's Zeta as far as his cleansing Combat Analysis. So those are the first 3. Obviously, BB-8 Roll with the Punches is really important, and Thrawn's Ebb and Flow. Those 5 Zetas are probably the next 5 Zetas I would highly, and I mean highly, recommend for you. You did ask about should you work on Rex and things like that, and I would highly recommend you work on Rex, Darth Nihilus, and Han Solo, because you have General Kenobi, but I don't even see your Han Solo anywhere in your roster, and that's crazy that you don't have Han Solo. So Han Solo, Darth Nihilus, and Rex. Now, I told you I was going to give you 2 teams. The one was CLS, Rey, R2-D2, Thrawn, and General Kenobi. And I know you're thinking, wow, why not BB-8 in there? And if you put in BB-8, who would you take out? And if you were to put BB-8 in there, I would actually say go tankless. I know that's crazy. You probably would drop on defense, but on offense would zip right up to the top. And that would be CLS-led. A CLS-led Rebel team with the countering capability with CLS R2-D2, and then using Rey, BB-8, and Thrawn in the background. And you could also mix it up and have Rey, BB-8, R2, CLS, and Thrawn in the background. Either way, it's going to work really, really well. It's just CLS and R2-D2 are more effective with a Commander Luke lead versus a Jedi Training Rey lead. And Jedi Training Rey works really effectively as a leader or as a support character. So there's a lot of variations with those characters, but you're doing the right thing. You're working on the right characters. Obviously, R2-D2, Jedi Training Rey, BB-8, Grand Admiral Thrawn, General Kenobi, Commander Luke Skywalker. These are all overpowered characters, top 10 characters in the game. You can't go wrong with any of the Zetas on them, any of the gear that you throw their way. Highly focus on them, but I'm really interested to see what a CLS, R2, Rey, Thrawn, and General Kenobi team can do for you as far as carving through these Emperor Palpatine-led teams. Let me know how you do in Arena. I'm really interested. Let me know which Zetas you do decide to go ahead and go forward with. Remember, I'm suggesting it binds, then combat analysis, virtuous protector, roll with the punches on BB-8, and Thrawn's ebb and flow. As always, if you have any comments for PB Juice, leave them in the comments down below. And keep your gaming on. Warrior out.